You're listening to The Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, I'm Lex.
And I'm Sam.
And we are the Bloodshed Baddies.
Yes, we are. What up, what up?
What up? Samantha, I have an extremely important question for you today.
Oh, God. Baddies, we know it's going to be wild. Go for it.
Are you Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah?
This is a great question. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, take it away.
We are talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is a book series. There are 3 books, and it is also a TV show. And the 3rd season is out right now. I think there's 4 or 5 episodes out. I'm caught
I
up.
think
Are you
so.
caught up?
I'm caught up, unless they just put one out recently. I think I'm caught up.
Okay, so we're both caught up. So I need to know your feels. Are you Team Conrad or are you Team Jeremiah?
Okay. Without giving too many spoilers, and if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead. But I think this will be pretty vague. I am in the middle of listening to the books. I'm waiting for the 3rd one from the library. In the books, I was surprised I'm Team Jeremiah. In the TV show, I was Team Conrad. Then I rewatched it and I was like, wow, I think I might be Team Jeremiah. But this season, I'm Team Conrad because at this point, Belly, what are you doing engaged to his brother if you still have feelings for Conrad? Just be with flipping Conrad at this point.
Interesting. So I have the exact opposite of you. So when I read the books first, though. You watched the TV show first, right?
Yes.
Okay. I read the books first. In the books, hands down, never wavered, 100% Conrad, beginning to end. Conrad. In the TV show, I lean towards Team Jeremiah.
I can understand it when I rewatched it because I rewatched it for season 3. I was like, she is more fun with with Jeremiah. She's more like carefree. So I was leaning Team Jeremiah, but this season I'm Conrad all the way.
I will always, based on the books, want it to be Conrad in the end. But I think what the show did was made Jeremiah so likable.
Yes.
Like I think Jeremiah is more likable in the show than he is in the books. And I don't know if it's the actor that plays him.
I like him in the
really
books.
Like. I know you do. I didn't.
The actor is very good.
I think the actor is just very good. I think the actor is very like outgoing and bubbly and like makes everything look fun and exciting. And the guy who plays Conrad, I think, is like, and I know that's how their personalities are supposed to be, but I think it's more like juxtaposed in the show.
Oh, for sure.
Where Conrad is like the quiet, reclusive, can't open up, can't. And I think that's why I lean more towards Jeremiah. But because I've read the books, I do want it to end with Team Conrad.
I did hear, though, it's going to be an ending no one suspects. So what would you feel, Alexis, if Belly picks herself in the end?
You know, I think it might actually be smart because it's a real effed up situation. Like when I was thinking about it the other day, I was like, I love this so much. Like I love the books. I love the show. I'm so into it. But like, I could never, first off, it would be hard to date somebody I grew up with like that for me. Like we did have a family that we grew up close to, and we didn't end up staying close to them through the teenage years. But I don't think I ever really looked at him that way because it was
never?
like a brother. Never.
I had a crush on the older one for a little bit.
Really?
Only for like maybe like 2 weeks. I think in 7th grade, I saw him like grow up and I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But I cannot imagine like being in love with someone and then getting engaged to their brother. I just can't.
It's a messy situation. I love the show, but in real life, if I had a friend like I was dating this boy, but now I'm engaged to the brother, but now I still kind of like this boy, I'd be like, girl, get the heck out of that situation.
Yeah. And then I also think I was like a grown up now, like looking at it. I mean, I was a grown up when I read and watched, but I think like just thinking about it in a grown-up perspective is like there's a lot of grief from Susanna dying.
Oh yeah. Trauma bonding.
Yeah, on all three of their ends. So I'm like, I don't actually think y'all are in love. I think very trauma bonding. Yeah.
I do admit, and then we can move on because I know we're talking about this for a while, but I like it. I love Belly's brother and Belly's best friend together.
I do too.
I need them to be back together
I
ASAP.
do too. I do
They're
too.
super cute. Although same thing, messy situation. She's like cheating on her boyfriend, which like, girl, don't do that. But I don't
Without the
hate it.
cheating, it would be perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Without the cheating, it would be perfect because there is like that, like it is fun when your best friend is a part of your family all of a sudden.
Oh, 1,000%. We have experience with that.
Yeah.
All right, all right. If you haven't seen the show, watch it. Amazon Prime.
Also, read the books.
Rock men. You can get it from Libby and listen like I did. It's good. But okay, baddies. For those of you who don't know us very well, some of you, we are part Sicilian.
Woo woo.
Ciao, ciao. Isn't that right, Lex?
Ciao, indeed.
But our great grandfather lived in Sicily, Palermo to be exact. And my husband and I actually had the most incredible opportunity to visit there this summer together with the
I'll
hubby.
never get over how jealous I am about that.
It was so incredible. Obviously, a very privileged thing to say, but if you have the opportunity, you guys go visit Sicily. It's amazing. But while I was in Palermo, I heard of this case that I'm going to do today, which is super exciting. And I was like, oh my God, I literally took my phone out and I wrote it down. This is somewhat different of a case today. Also inspired, honestly, by your John Gotti case, Lexi. And if you haven't listened to that, baddies, go. It's two parts. It's really good. But there is definitely still crime and murder. So if this is what you come here for, we got you covered. But to start us off, baddies, I'm actually going to do a little history lesson to set the atmosphere. So are you ready?
History lesson.
Don't fall asleep, Lex.
What?
I think it might interest you. The Sicilian Mafia, also known as the Cosa Nostra, which literally translates in English as our thing, has been around
Okay.
since the early 19th century and has really twisted itself into Italian society, particularly Sicily. It is a common belief that the mafia began in Sicily in a surprisingly simple grab for power. The Gabellotto were people or entrepreneurs who would lease farmlands for short-term use from aristocrats at the time. They would hire guards that would protect the land and have control over the working farmers. The aristocrats would actually be constantly in debt to the Gabellotto for rent and taxes, and this would lead to loss of properties entirely, and the Gabellotto became an undeniable power in Sicily. With this power, some began to use their position for personal gain and engaged in extortion and other criminal activity. They formed the basis for early mafia clans. So, with the original intention to manage land, they turned into the foundation of the mafia. During a small economic crisis in 1861, the Italian state was trying to find a way to control the government on the island of Sicily that they knew little about. So, they relied on the mafia to know how things worked locally. This would help the mafia's rise to power as they began to exchange favors and votes, and soon politics and the mafia went hand in hand. In the 20th century, many Italians sought a new life in America. Italian dictator Mussolini tried to get rid of the mafia, and while many big bosses ended up in handcuffs, the others escaped to America, strengthening the organization there. This is just an interesting fact I found in my research that I had to share. But when World War II was in full swing, US intelligence would actually seek out and imprison Sicilian mob bosses in the United States, such as Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese. And for their aid in helping free Italy, they got their freedom.
Let's go. That's cool.
I know. Once Italy was free from Nazi control, the bosses would remain to keep a political hold on the island of Sicily. Around the second half of the 20th century, the organization turned international. Cosa Nostra, the Sicilian Mafia, became a force in Palermo, reverting to old avenues of profit and new ventures as well. While the mafia growing in both Italy and the US in the 1950s, both factions would meet to work out the details of major drug trafficking that would be monetarily beneficial to both sides. For some time after this, bloodshed and violence was at the forefront. With the want to remove every hurdle, the mafia would kill politicians, judges, and police officers.
Wow.
In 1962 and 1963, Palermo, the capital of Sicily and where this story takes place, regularly suffered from shootouts and bombings during what people refer to as the First Mafia War. The war ended with a car bomb that killed 7 officers of the law. Public outrage led the Italian government to form the first anti-mafia commission, which did slow down mafia attacks. However, few mafia members were ultimately imprisoned. In the 1970s, the Corleone family boss, Luciano Leggio, became a campaign to take control of the mafia. So the Corleone was like a faction within the mafia, and Luciano wanted to control the whole mafia. This resulted in the Second Mafia War, which led to hundreds of deaths and Leggio's imprisonment. But his successor, Salvatore the Beast Rina, brought the conflict to a successful conclusion, becoming the mafia's first boss of bosses.
Boss of bosses, the beast.
Yes, and he plays kind of a big role in this. Once again, though, the violence led to a government response, and Rina retaliated by bombing officials and allegedly kidnapping and murdering the son of an informant. In 1987, the state convicted 338 mafia members in a maxi trial. But although the Sicilian Mafia is a huge influence in this case will not focus on the mafia, although they play a huge role. This case is about the 2 men who did everything they could to help the city of Palermo. These 2 men were judges in that maxi trial I just mentioned, and they will end up paying the ultimate price of trying to go against the Sicilian Mafia. This is the story about Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino and their intertwined lives. Giovanni Falcone was born to a middle-class family on May 18, 1939, in Palermo, Sicily. He lived in the Via Castro Filippo near the seaport district La Calza, which is an Arabic neighborhood of central Palermo that actually had suffered a lot of destruction during the Allied invasion of Sicily in 1943. His father was a director of a chemical lab, and he had 2 older sisters, Anna and Maria. His parents instilled hard work, bravery, and patriotism into his life, and he would actually get into fights at school with bigger kids if he felt they were picking on his friends.
Aw.
I know, isn't that cute? The mafia was active in his area growing up, but wasn't like super active. But one of his childhood friends would later become a notorious mafia smuggler and killer. Other classmates joined the mafia as well. Paolo Borsellino was born January 19th, 1940, also to a middle-class family in Palermo, Sicily. He lived in Colza. His father was a pharmacist, and his mother actually ran the pharmacy near their home. Paolo and Giovanni actually would play soccer together growing up. In 1956, the house he lived in was deemed unsafe, and his family was forced to move out. Paolo, same with Giovanni, also had classmates that would end up joining the mafia as well. When they got older, Giovanni studied law at the University of Palermo with a brief period of study at Livorno's Naval Academy. Giovanni actually wanted a military career, but his father thought him too independent and sent him to study law.
Wow.
I know, interesting. Paolo also went to University of Palermo, where the 2 met back up again to study law as well. Giovanni and Paolo both shared different political leanings, but it didn't ruin their friendship.
That's how it should be.
One more time for the people in the back. They did both have the same belief in opposing the mafia, though.
Let's go. They said, we might agree on everything, but we agree on standing against the mafia.
What is that saying? The enemy of my enemies is my friend or something? What is it?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You were right.
Oh, I got it right. Giovanni graduated in 1961 and began to practice law before being appointed as a judge in 1964. He eventually gravitated toward penal law after serving as a district magistrate. He was assigned to the prosecutor's office in Trapani in Marsala, and then in 1978, Giovanni went to the bankruptcy court in Palermo. Paolo graduated with honors in 1962. After his father's death, he passed the judiciary exam in 1963. He worked in many cities in Sicily, but after Paolo married in 1968, he transferred to his hometown of Palermo. Giovanni would marry later in 1986.
It seems like two little BFFs living their best lives.
Literally, it's like so cute how it's intertwined and they're
Yeah,
friends.
they might not be together for a little bit, but they always kind of find their way back to each other.
We'll find each other again.
It'd be very romantic if they were a couple.
Imagine that twist. In 1980, Giovanni joined the Office of Instruction, which was the investigative branch of the Palermo Prosecution Office. He joined at a very interesting time because the main prosecutor of the mafia was killed just 2 months earlier.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 2 months before that, the head of the police investigation to mafia drug dealings was murdered.
Oh, my goodness.
His successor, the policeman's successor, was also murdered. So he's joining this very like life-threatening, people are getting murdered on him. Here you go.
I don't know that I could join that. I'd be like, maybe I'll go to a real small town to be a judge.
The next day, the judge at this office signed 55 arrest warrants for mafia and heroin network members and appointed Giovanni to investigate the case. So now he's in.
Woo! For all 50?
For all 55 arrest warrants, yes. So a wild time.
I'd be like, I've been here for 2 minutes, dude.
This judge signed these 55 arrest warrants that nobody else would. It took time for people to do it because no one else wanted to do it.
They were all too afraid to.
Yes. The judge would eventually also be murdered on August 6, 1980.
This is ridiculous. I would quit.
Giovanni was given bodyguards that next day.
That's good. That's good. I feel like we should maybe done that after the first 3 murders. But.
Giovanni was really good at his job and made connections internationally and in the US, and would also go through bank statements all by hand. And his investigative work was able to win 74 convictions. So he's doing good.
Holy moly. Also, if you ask me to go through a bank statement by hand, no, it's not going to happen.
Oh, I could never. In 1980, Palo helped with the arrest of 6 mafia members, one being the brother-in-law of that boss of bosses, Salvatore the Beast Rina.
Oh, making some people bad now.
Palo's co-investigator was murdered by the mafia that same year.
Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire.
Palo was actually then assigned to investigate the murder of his co-investigator.
Oh, okay.
And he became a target when he assigned the arrest warrant for the man who murdered his co-investor, Francesco Madonia.
I'm glad that there are people who are going to fight for this, despite their lives being on the line. Because I would be like, you know what? Let the mafia win. They can take over. I'm out. Don't kill me.
Maxi would not be
Do
a
whatever
good
you want,
investigator.
Like, yeah, looked into that. They did nothing wrong. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're fine. They're fine.
I think I'd be a much better mob boss than a mob investigator.
It's the Sicilian blood. But after that, Paolo was also assigned police protection. So Giovanni and Paolo both did not plan to get involved in the struggle against the mafia. It kind of just fell into their lap. And what they witnessed in their fight for justice for their hometown just expanded all of this. Between 1981 and the first months of 1982, a person died every 3 days at the hands of organized crime.
Holy moly. Someone was letting the mafia take over. Someone out there was like me and they were like, oh, no, I'm not getting messed up with that. You kill somebody else, not me.
Another mafia war had begun, resulting in 1,200 victims.
1,200. 1,200.
These are numbers comparable to a civil war.
Yeah.
Because of this, the anti-mafia pool was created by Judge Rocco Kinishi. And this laid the groundwork for that maxi trial I mentioned when I was doing the history. The anti-mafia pool was a group of investigating magistrates who closely worked together, sharing information to diffuse responsibility and to prevent one person from becoming the sole target. So it's like, hey, it's not this one person who signed it. There's a bunch of us spread between.
I don't think that's helpful. I think that just makes everybody targets.
Lexi's shaking in her boots.
I get the concept, but it's like they're killing 1,200 people. They ain't gonna be worried about whether 3 people or 1 person signed that.
Giovanni and Paolo were both in this group, along with Giuseppe Dello and Leonard Granata.
Giuseppe, you say?
In 1983, Rocco Kinishi, the creator of the anti-mafia pool, you may have guessed it, was killed by a bomb in his car.
I told you, they're just creating more targets.
Antonio Caponetto took his place, and they pulled together several investigations into the mafia. On September 29th, 1984, 336 arrest warrants were filed, and they actually had to create like a bunker for those waiting on trial.
This is insanity.
Isn't it? And these trials would become known as the Maxi trial against the mafia.
Okay.
This trial started in February 10th, 1986 and lasted until December 16th, 1987.
Holy moly.
Well, think about all the arrest warrants.
I mean, yeah, but I just, woo! Could you imagine being called in for jury duty for that one? Sorry, Fram, I'm on jury duty for the next year and a half.
Maybe they had different juries. I don't know, but that is a good point that I did not think of. In 1986, Palo became head of the Public Prosecution Office of Marsala and continued his campaign against mafia bosses in the most populated city, Trapani. Palo's link with Giovanni, who remained in Palermo, allowed him to cover Western Sicily for the investigations. In 1987, Caponetto resigned due to illness, and Palo had his friend Giovanni's back to take over as head of the anti-mafia pool.
Sing to me, Paolo. I'm loving all these Italian names. And also Lizzie McGuire.
Classic. So in this famous Maxi trial, 475 mafia members were indicted of crimes relating to mafia activity, such as crimes including murder, drug trafficking, and extortion.
Woo, baby.
338 mafia members were convicted, and to the surprise of almost everyone, these convictions were upheld after the final stages of appeals in 1992.
That's a highly impressive percentage.
1,000%. A total of 2,665 years of prison sentences was shared between the guilty, not including life sentences handed to 19 leading mafia bosses and killers.
They said, we are cleaning up these streets.
Anti-mafia pool. One of the most important parts of this trial was the first ever Sicilian mafia boss gave testimony as an informant.
Wow.
Tommaso Buscetta. This trial was so important because the Sicilian mafia was finally judicially confirmed. The achievement of the Maxi trial did not sit well with some colleagues, some citizens, and of course, the mafia. Giovanni was passed over for the job he wanted, actually, and he started to suspect that state officials were involved in mafia handlings. And on June 20th, 1989, There was actually an attempt on Giovanni's life. Sticks of dynamite were discovered near a beach house that he rented. He suspected it was an inside job. Later, two police officers who worked for the Secret Service will say they were responsible for secretly defusing the bombs placed by mafia and other servicemen, and they, along with one of their wives, would later be killed outside their homes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, couple things about this. I got a couple thoughts here in my head. Um, the first one is every time I hear sticks of dynamite, I think that that only happens in cartoons. I can't believe that that happens in real life.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, like I just who out here be buying sticks of dynamite and plays them? I don't know. I'm very confused. Second off, I do think I think with all mafia stuff, the way they become as big as they are, that is because they have inside people.
Oh,
Like
yes.
there's definitely inside people in this. And then like, goddamn, the people who defuse the bomb you put on your hit list, like everyone is on this hit list. You breathe near this investigator and you're gonna be dead.
Literally, yes. Can you imagine being these Paolo and Giovanni right now?
No.
Just no.
No, I can't imagine having to be afraid of sticks of dynamite by my house. I literally didn't even know you could buy sticks of dynamite. I thought I thought Wile E. Coyote was the only guy who had dynamite.
Amazon Prime, maybe? I don't know. Giovanni ended up actually moving to Rome, and while some thought he was running away, it was actually a very successful move. Giovanni used his spot in Rome to help fight against the mafia, and the mafia realized he was more dangerous in Rome than he had ever been in Palermo.
Let's go, Giovanni. Do you think he threw a coin in the Trevi Fountain and that's why he was so successful?
I would love if that's true. Palo also went to Rome one of the times to meet with a mafia informant.
Sing to me, Paolo.
Maybe he sang.
Oh my God, is that who the Living War movie is based off of?
Maybe. On May 23rd, 1992, Giovanni Falcone, his wife, and three of his bodyguards were making their way, I believe, from the Palermo International Airport near the town of Capaci on one of their weekly visits to visit their children. 881 pounds of explosives, totaling in 13 barrels, were placed in a culvert under the highway a couple weeks prior.
Dynamite again?
With a remote control at the site of the vehicles, the explosives went off.
That's insane planning.
Insane. The first car carrying Antonio Montinar, Vito Schifani, and Rocco Di Chilo was hit with the full force and thrown from the road into an orchard of olive trees, instantly killing the agents.
That's so sad because not only did you kill people, you're ruining very good olive trees. I love olives.
Olives are very good.
I have an olive on my nails. That's how much I love olives.
The second car, carrying Giovanni and his wife, crashed against the concrete wall and the debris, fatally ejecting Giovanni and his wife through the windshield.
Ugh.
The explosive was so powerful, it registered on local earthquake monitors.
Stop it right now.
Yep. This was clearly a mafia hit.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else uses freaking 300 pounds of dynamite.
Salvatore, the Beast Rina, the boss of bosses in the mafia, allegedly threw a party toasting Giovanni's death.
I would probably guess that that's more true than alleged.
From all the sources I said, it definitely said allegedly, but yes, I think you may be onto something.
Yeah.
Because Reno was later arrested as the person who orchestrated it, and Giovanni Brusca, an associate, later admitted to being the one to actually detonate the explosives.
Wow. Can you imagine? I can't imagine having a remote control being like, this is going to blow up a bunch of people.
Yep, here you go.
And then just being like, okay, I'll press it.
Giovanni's personal diary containing 39 entries was seized and transferred to the prosecutor's office that was responsible for investigating the bombing. These diaries remain under seal and have never been released to the public.
Wow, I want to know what's in them so badly.
Dude, it's probably insane.
I want to know so badly.
A month after Giovanni's murder on June 23rd,
My birthday!
Lexi's B-Day, Palo made a speech where he said, quote, Giovanni Falcone was perfectly well aware as he worked that one day the power of evil, the mafia, would kill him. Francesca Morvillo, which is his wife, was perfectly well aware as she stood by her man that she would share his lot. His bodyguards were perfectly well aware as they protected Falcone that they too would meet the same fate as him. Giovanni Falcone could not be oblivious and was not oblivious to the extreme danger he faced, for the reason that too many colleagues and friends of his who had followed the same path that he was now imposing on himself had already had their lives cut short. Quote, people believed Paolo knew that he would be next.
Yeah, it sounds like that's basically what he's saying. He's like, yeah, all those people knew they were going to die. Come for me, brother, is what I kind of am feeling.
Exactly. And less than a month later, on July 19th, he unfortunately was. Paolo was traveling from his summer residence to visit his mother's home in Palermo on the street Via D'Amelio. This time, they placed a 220-pound bomb in a Fiat 126 on the street.
Whoa.
When Paolo and his bodyguards arrived, they noticed nothing unusual besides some parked cars. The bomb went off and exploded Paolo's car along with one of the escort cars. 5 policemen/bodyguards were also killed in this bombing. Agostino Catalano, Walter Cozina, Emanuela Loy, Vincenzo Limuli, and Claudia Trina. The only surviving escort was Antonio Vula, who was in the third car. The culprits for this bombing had not been officially identified, but this was also clearly a mafia attack.
Yeah.
Salvatore the Beast Rina, that boss of bosses, says it was not him and people just want to use him as a scapegoat.
Okay, sure.
Paolo also had a red notebook that he kept with him where he jotted down case information that disappeared from the site of the bombing. Despite extensive investigations, this notebook has never been found.
I want to know who has the notebook.
It is believed that this notebook contained sensitive information, and this leads people to believe that Secret Service could have been involved in this.
Oh, I want to go to Palermo and search for all these.
Go, go, go. The lives of Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino began and ended in Palermo. These two fought for justice and were the ones that hurt the mafia the most in the course of history, according to one of the sources I read. The reason for their murders was most likely revenge from those maxi trials and the hurt that they were employing on the mafia. They were responsible for shutting down a big percentage of the mafia drug trade. But for the people of Palermo and those who know these two, they are connected with bravery and commitment to law. Memorials, museums, and institutions honor their legacy. And many see their maxi trials as justice prevailing over the forces of organized crime. In 2006, both judges were awarded the gold medal for civil valor and deemed heroes of the last 60 years.
Oh, that's cool.
And that is the story of Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino.
When you were in Sicily, did you see any of the memorials or museums?
Yes, I was just going to say that. I seen one of the pictures I sent the Fam Bam group chat, which is our family group chat, is me standing in front of this super famous mural of these two guys.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can post it on the Bayety page.
I will try to, but there's a great chance I forget.
Or make it the picture on the post or whatever.
Just being honest, I might forget.
But yeah, there is like a lot of anti-mafia stuff around Palermo, like flags and stuff. And then there's that huge memorial of like it's like 2 photos of them like looking at each other and like laughing, and they look like BFFs, and it's like a cute
Aww.
memorial thing. Yeah. It's like a very famous photo of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but a little bit of a different case, but to me, hopefully you guys super interesting because I like that crap.
Yeah. Not bosses for life. Us mansos.
Sicilian.
Got that Sicilian blood in us.
Yeah. And like I said, if you have the means and the opportunity, go to Sicily.
Well, folks, grazie for listening today.
Yes.
Please give us a little likey, give us a little downloady, give us a little reviewy on whatever platform you are listening to. Please go to Instagram, hit follow. Go to Facebook, hit follow. Go to TikTok, hit follow. Go to YouTube, hit subscribe. We're Bloodshed Baddies everywhere.
Send us an email as well, and or a case suggestion or a story to bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com. Our intro music is made by the awesome Cousin Vinny. Tell a friend and tune in next week for a Lexi episode.
Arrivederci.
Ti amo, baddies.
Ti amo, baddies. Arrivederci.